edition of GPL 357. We are right into the finals now. The first week is done and dusted, and to talk through what happened in the knockout and the preliminary final, we've got a great panel. On my right, we have the celebrity couple who is now officially watching on for the rest of the season, DC Carroll. Hello, DC.
Hello.
And on my left, a man who is suffering from one of the cruelest blows, a knockout, a countback loss in one of the big games, the captain of the Sewer Rats, Simon Priest. G'day, Simon.
Thanks, Graz. Thanks, DC, for having me on.
It's a pleasure. What we'll do is we'll look through the knockout and have a look at what happened and a few predictions about what's going to happen this weekend, and then we'll go to the big show where we have a look at the prelims and see what's happening there. So we'll start off the knockout. Precy, Tunners versus F Troop. How did that go?
Yeah, look, there was a bit of word about F Troop winning the Survivor, and they did it, and they'll also been knocked out. So the Tunners had 180 and F Troop 177.
Yeah, F Troop a bit unlucky. They've played well the last month, but they've got nothing really to show for it. They'll be up against the winner of this match. Back Nine Mafia and Vultures, who got up there?
Yeah, so Back Nine Mafia, after the season basically ended too early for them. They won the last few games trying to creep up into the finals, but didn't quite get there in the end, but really wanting to prove something in the knockout finals, and too strong for the Vultures, 171 to 162. Vultures with a wooden spoon and a loss in the first round of the knockout, so a season they want to forget.
They will forget it in a hurry, I reckon. So the back nine against the Tunners, guys, just a tip here. The predictive scores has the back nine Mafia getting up by 2, but I reckon it might be the other way. I think the Tunners will be steeled to play well. They're moving into the time of year where I think they go well. I reckon the Tunners will just upset the back nine and finish their premiership defence completely.
The word on the street is the captain of the Back Nine Mafia may have been up in Queensland last week, honing his game, honing his short game to come back and finish the last 3 weeks off really strong and get another bit of silverware for them. So I like the Tunners in the overall thing, but in this knockout, maybe I'd like Back Nine Mafia on the day.
Got a great short game off the first 2 kg. What about you, Precy?
Look, I've got to say the Tunners are no hope because they're playing the Rats in the real finals. So I think the back nine will get it done.
Well, that is true. We'll see what happens. Precy, the Wanderers are up against the Corruptibles, DC's Corruptibles. How did that go?
Not well for you, DC. Not well at all. The Wanderers had a great round with 185 and got through in their final, and then they also knocked out the Corruptibles with 172.
Yeah, we actually see it's driving me to drink, so as opposed to our usual sponsor, Sweps, we've moved up.
Got the front bar.
The front bar, except we don't have Andy Marr, so we'll actually potentially be funny. So in our, so the other side of that draw, we've got Tridents and the Wood Ducks, and Wood Ducks again, after a poor season and not making the finals, wanted to prove something and knocked out the highly fancied Tridents, 172 to 168. So. A bad weekend all around for the Tridents, losing both their finals matches, but the Wood Ducks live to fight another day.
The Wood Ducks would love that. I reckon they'll be asking the Tridents to lay down the uniform now if they've knocked them out of the game altogether. Very good. So the Wood Ducks are up against the Wanderers. The Wood Ducks, funnily enough, have just been predicted a little more, but I reckon the Wanderers are showing all the form at the moment. I'd expect the Wanderers to get up in a fairly easy victory, actually. Precy?
Look, I think the Wanderers will get up, only because they've got a lot to play for in the final, and I think they'll have a real crack at it. So I'm going to say the Wanderers by 5.
Yeah, Wanderers have been good the last few weeks, and Tridents really limped into the finals and showed nothing last week, but they've got to bounce back. They've been a team that's been high on the ladder for a number of years, so it's now or never. So Tridents for me.
Yeah. So next up, Phoenix were against the Gunners. How did that look for you, President?
Well, the Phoenix, they rose from the ashes. They had 173 to the Gunners 164. Unfortunately, the McCarthy boys didn't fire, and Phoenix got it done.
Yeah, they got it done comfortably. Chemists against the more conquering Buglers, DC.
Yeah, again, Chemists a little bit stiff on this one. Buglers won 181, 175, and 181 was a good score, but the Chemists, I think they were missing 3, maybe 4 players. So again, too much expected of too few. So they also lost both finals, so a poor day for them in the end. And the Buglers just keep on keeping on.
They certainly do. They're predicted to have 185, which is the highest prediction we've ever had shows the type of form they're in. And against the Phoenix, they're predicted to beat them by 10, and I reckon that might be just accurate.
Sometimes 185 doesn't win it for you, Kraz.
Yeah, that's a horrible call. It is, Precy. Well, who do you reckon will win this one, mate?
I think the Boogers will just keep on going. They'll get it done.
DC?
Yeah, well, I think in this either this corresponding match last year or certainly in one of the knockout rounds, the Phoenix ended the Buglers' hopes of winning the knockout. So Buglers will be out for revenge, and I think they'll be too strong for Phoenix this week.
Yeah, you'd expect that. And the final two games, Wally World were up against the Wolfpack. How did that go, Precy?
Look, Wally World, they limped over the line. They've been pretty bad the last 4 or 5 weeks, but the 176 was enough to get the Wolfpack on 172. So they got over the line, mate.
They certainly did. The Wolfpack limp out of the year again. How about you, DC?
Well, this is hard to say. I mean, what's worse than losing a final on a countback? It's losing 2 finals on a countback. So the poor old Rats, 185 in their first major final. That's a great
Just a
score.
cracking score.
And the Ferrets got them on a countback with 185 as well, and played them in both competitions, so beat them in the knockout as well. It's I don't think we'll actually see that ever happen again.
No, I wouldn't think so.
The Ferrets, good luck to them. They've moved on to the next round of the knockout, and certainly they've got a week's rest in the big one. But I don't think we've heard the last of the Sewer Rats this season.
No, well, the Ferrets now, it's another blockbuster really for them up against Wally World in the semi-finals and on the quarterfinals of the knockout here. They're predicting 180 and they are playing well. I would expect them to continue on against Wally World.
Yeah, Wally World. I think they're going to be stung, perennial giant. They've slipped, and out in the first week of the main finals. I think they've worked again. Wally World's leader may have gone to the driving range for the first time in about 15 years this week. They may come with a bit of sting in the tail this week and knock over the Ferrets.
I reckon he might be a bit stiff and sore come the weekend doing stuff like that. Precy, what do you reckon?
I've got to go the same. I think the Wallies, now that the pressure's off in the real competition, I think they're going to turn up and play well.
Well, I've no doubt they will. They've been known to respond to pressure 2 out of 10 times, so maybe this will be the next week they do it. So we now move to the big event, the Premiership. It's the 10th year of this, and we had the major semi-finals. The Buglers were up against the Wanderers. The Buglers have been playing fantastic, all-conquering Buglers. It's hard to see anyone knocking them off, and what do you reckon, Precy? How'd they go?
The Boogers got it done. I played with Captain Streety, and he was very solid with the 37 to get them over the line. They had 181 and beat the Tritons, which I was a bit disappointed. The Tritons usually show up a little bit better than that, but they only come up with 168 this week.
They've really struggled through winter. Their scoring has been disappointing, and unfortunately in the end they've been getting away with it, but not against a side like the Buglers. You've got to perform if you're up against these guys. They'll be playing the winner, the Tritons. They're going to be playing the winner of Wally World against the Wanderers. How was that?
Well, probably in the shock of the round, Wanderers 185, comfortable win over Wally World 176. So Wally World's season over in the big one, and Wanderers move on to face the Tritons this week in the first semi.
Yeah, when Wally World had that draw against Back Nine Mafia and the curse of Scrappy McLeod reared its head again to them, they put themselves in danger of being eliminated in the first week in the finals.
Draws.
And they have been. So once again,
well, how many weeks did how many years was the curse of Bambino? That was a staggering amount of time. It was generation after generation, I think. So hopefully,
years.
This is 2 years for the curse of Scrapper McLeod, but hopefully Wally World can break that in years to come.
Well, it's going to be a long
78 to go.
A long way, that's for sure. So the Tritons are up against the Wanderers. The Tritons predicted to win this by 1. But to be honest, I think the Wanderers' form has been better, and I'd expect the Wanderers to get this done. DC?
Yeah, as I said with the knockout, the Tritons really, this is it. This is their last chance to salvage something from the season, I guess. They almost look like the least team in form out of the 6 remaining. So they're long odds to win the flag, but it starts with being able to win this one this week. But I've got a feeling they might pick the Wanderers.
Yeah, what about you, Tracy?
I'd like to see the Wanderers get through, because when they get the grand final, they'll be an easy beat when they play the Rats. So good luck, Wanderers. I look forward to seeing you in grand final day.
Yeah, and this can always be replayed the week prior to that. And in the other side of the draw, the major final, the Ferrets are up against the Surats DC. This was an absolute magnificent match.
Yeah, and look, we talked about it a little bit before with the knockout. I mean, 185 to 185. Great match. I mean, great scoring. 185 in July is tremendous. You come anywhere near that, I think, over the final couple of weeks of the season, and you're not having a draw. You're winning comfortably. Grand finals have been won at around the 160 mark, so there are, keep this form up for the next 3 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks for either of these teams, and they'll be standing on the dais at the end of the season.
Yeah, as tough as it is, it's got to give you some confidence that you can perform when it counts, and you can take that into the next week. You'll be playing the winner of the Tunners versus the Chemists. Precy, who are you up against?
Yeah, so we've got the Tunners this week. So the Tunners were too good to the Chemists, 180 to 175. And to be honest, I'm not looking forward to that, because I reckon the Tunners are in a little bit of form. So it's going to be hard work for us this week.
There's no doubt the teams that are finding form at this time are shooting the scores which are good enough to win this. So of the 6, maybe the Tridents are the only ones that are looking like they're just losing a little bit. But I think if anyone's going to beat the Buglers, there's some teams here that are playing well and having big scores. So it's forcing everyone to do their best to get through to the next round, which is great to see. Do you give yourself a good chance, Precy?
I think we're half a shot, but we've made it very hard for ourselves. We had 187 in the last round. We had 185 for a draw and lose on the count back. So we've got to go big for the next 3 weeks. And if we had a 1, I would have thought we were pretty safe to make the grand final. But if we can beat the Tunners, we've still got to go up against the Buglers, who were the best team all year. So it's going to be a hard way home.
Yeah, it is a very hard way home. You've made that bet, unfortunately, but I reckon you can line it nice and gently, and who knows where this will end up.
I'm a bit torn. I selected the Sutta Rats to perform highly this year at the start of the season, and they've done that. The great score they've had on Saturday, but I've been on the Tunners the last couple of weeks. Both teams, I think, can probably beat the Buglers, but they'll have to play well in the preliminary final to do that. They certainly have the firepower. All 3 teams have the firepower. Out of deference to our friend here, I can't back the Tunners in front of him. I can't say it, so just pop it up there.
Yeah, well, Tunners and Surats, I can see. I reckon the Buglers would prefer to play you guys than the Tunners. They've got some history with the Tunners, which isn't great. There's some haunting images that they would be able to have to face the Bugs, but I reckon you guys are probably the best chance to beat them. So you've recruited well and you're playing well, so I reckon you guys might get over the Tunners in a close one and then set up an absolute breakneck ball biter against the Buglers a week after.
I'd like to shake the Oxford boys' hands, knowing that we won. So a bit of luck, we get there.
No worries. Well, all the best. Thanks very much, Precy, for coming in and giving your views on what is now 3 weeks to go till we crown our 10th Premier.
Yeah, hopefully it's us.
Yes, very much so. DC, once again, thanks again for coming in and sharing your views. Don't forget, everyone, if you want to win this thing, you've got to turn up and play well. This has been GPL 357, and we'll see you on the weekend.